All right, this video is going to cover the recording decks that we have here in Studio One. These top three are the AGA KeyPro Ultras, and then down here we have the Blackmagic HyperDeck. And these are the recording devices that you're going to use to record your show if you're using the video switcher to switch your video sources. So when you come in at the start of your reservation, these recorders may or may not be turned on. Simply hit the power button and they'll boot up. The Blackmagic HyperDeck is always going to be on, and it certainly does not need to be turned off, so you can leave that as is. These different recorders serve different purposes. If you are recording in the studio at 4K, you'll be using these KeyPro recorders. If you would rather have a downscaled 1080 HD version of your show, you can record from the HyperDeck. It's worth noting that the Blackmagic recorder only gets your program feed, and the added benefit of recording with these KeyPro drives is that you are able to record different sources in ISO, meaning you can record camera 7 and then camera 6 continuously, while also capturing your program feed. So once you have these powered on, the first step you'll need to do is get some recording media. We have these KeyPro drives in the equipment room that you can borrow from us. So what you'll do is put these in the slot. You have slot 1, and you'll see that as I place that in there, the light on the recorder is going to light up green, and the recorder will indicate that it's mounting the media. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the rest as well. Okay. Now, while that's mounting, I'll point out down here in the bottom of the screen, you have this percentage here, this 91%. This percentage indicates how empty the drive is. It might be a little counterintuitive to label it that way, but think of this as 91% empty. So if you see it at 99%, that means it's empty, not full. But either way, when you get your drives, you should format them. So to format, you'll go into Media, and automatically it should take you to this menu option called 16.2 Format Media. If for any reason you click Media and it opens you up to a different menu, that's fine. You can use this knob here to cycle through all of the different menu options and find your way back to Format Media. Once you're there, click in on the knob, and then it's going to ask you to confirm your action. You'll hit OK, and it's going to format that drive. And so while it's saying formatting drive 1, just leave it as is. It'll take a minute or two, and then once it's done, you'll be ready to record. Once it's done formatting, hit Media, and then you can hit Record. And you'll notice that when the recorder is recording, on the drive itself, you'll see a blinking green light. That is indicating that it's recording. The record light will also highlight red, and then you'll be able to see that the time code is moving there to indicate that it's recording. When you're done, just hit stop. You'll see the green light as stopped as well, and then you're done recording. If you need to pull this drive out, you'll need to unmount the media. That's very important. To do that, on the bottom left here, there's this button called Slot. Click on that. You're going to get the sign that it's unmounting. And then once that goes away, and then once the green light has gone away as well, you can pull the drive. Always be sure to unmount the media before you eject it. So, moving on to the Blackmagic. This recorder uses these Samsung solid-state drives with a SATA port. So we also have the adapters that go from SATA to USB if you wanted to transfer this onto a computer. This one is very simple. Just slide this with the port side in into the drive, and you'll click it in, and you'll notice that it will flash green. It can also flash orange and red. If it gives you any other colors besides green, it's letting you know that it needs to be formatted. But even if it is green, I always recommend formatting it. You don't know if somebody else had recorded on it or what. So to format on the Blackmagic, you go into Menu, and you're going to use this wheel to scroll over to Storage, and you would use the Set button to select. And now that we're in the Storage menu, you can scroll all the way down to the very bottom to the Format Media option, hit Select, and then once you have your drive input, you can see that it's going to recognize any of the cards you have in there. Make sure you're selecting the first drive, and make sure you format to exFAT. Then it's going to ask if you're sure, hit Format, and then it will begin to format, and you'll see it highlight in red. Then it'll let you know that the action's complete, and then once you're back in the menu, hit Menu again until you're back out and ready to record. Another thing to remember is that when you are ready to record, that you need to make sure that you have audio levels coming through on your program recorder. If you're setting up for an interview or a band and you're not seeing audio on your recorder, you might want to double check and make sure that everything's running through the audio board correctly, everything's plugged in. If you don't see any audio levels, you won't be recording any audio in your final product. So when you hit the record button, it'll highlight the record button in red. You'll see on the screen that it's recording, and you'll also notice the red ring around the recorder. When you're done recording, hit stop, and then as long as the drive is not actively recording, you can pull this drive. You don't have to unmount it. It's worth noting that the Blackmagic recorder also takes SD cards in these slots here, and the function or the steps to format those cards is the same as you would do if you were formatting one of these solid-state drives.